All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, we're back again for our weekly team call that we do. And hey, we got a special treat for you. We got a special guest. One of my best friends in the whole world actually is also in our company. He's part of our success line, our upline. But he's also one of my best friends. And I've been able to, well, we've been in the industry around the same amount of time, and I've just watched him grow over the years tremendously, just mentally, physically. Now, if you look at him now, he's doing 100 push-ups a day. Like he's just making it look like clockwork. I'm like, man, hold on, I gotta get back to doing 100 push-ups a day like that. But he's also an amazing leader. He's a friend. He's a father. And he's been in this industry quite a while. But everybody, before I introduce him and really bring him on, don't forget that we have tons of products on loyalty that you can for the month of February. There's several calls to plug into, but y'all always know my favorite call for everybody to plug into is the 9:15, 10:15, 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern, and that's the IPA call, the income producing activity. Even if you are busy at work, I encourage you just to put headphones in and just take a listen, because that call is by far the best call I've ever been a part of in my whole 12 years of doing this industry. You want to talk about some golden nuggets to help you make income? Most of y'all, everybody on here wants to make income, because y'all always tell y'all don't jump on the call at 7 o'clock on Sunday to just be on here to listen. You're here because you want to build something. So that call right there for sure. And then also, if you can, which I encourage everybody to be at, and that's Panama City. It's coming up in 2 more weeks. There's Super Saturdays going on around the country as well. I know Miss Jackie is on here up in Maryland, and she would just ask me what's close, and she might well, she was gonna try to make it to the one in North Carolina, but she already had a parent schedule. But hey, plug into the Super Saturdays. But if there's another event to be at besides the corporate event, that's Panama City. You need to find a way to be there. That event right there will change your life. But now I know Coach Palmer is a very busy man. This guy has teams all over the world. But again, he's more than just a business builder. He's a father, he's a husband, and he's one of the best men I know on this planet. He has a heart of gold, and I've been side by side with him in this industry for 12 years. We both came in at the same time. At that time, I was a 21-year-old kid, and you'll get to hear what he was doing at that time. But Coach, the first thing I would love for you to do is let you share your story, because a lot of people on here have never heard your story. So how did you get involved in network marketing, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me. I was talking to Anthony, might have been yesterday, and he said, "Hey, one night, jump on this call." And I said, "Absolutely." So many times people, it's like we want to help, but we only know, you know, we only know to help when we're invited to help. You know what I'm saying? And so me and Anthony do a lot of we do prospecting Zooms together or prospecting calls together. Um, but I'm so excited about what I'm seeing in the field as I travel, as I go places. Um, we had some big groups in with the owners in Puerto Rico over the last couple of days, and just a lot going on. But I go back to the beginning, and when I got started in the industry, I'd actually transitioned from being a head football coach into being a principal athletic director. And really, I was just trying to move up the ladder so that I could receive more pay. I loved education, um, but my goal was to be a superintendent, you know, because that's the top of the food chain in education at the high school level. And about that time is when I had an opportunity to look at network marketing. And it was with a company that you know nobody knew about, especially in the state of Alabama. It was just getting started, and I saw an opportunity to jump on board. And I didn't know what I was going to turn it into. When I found this, I enjoyed going to work every day. I enjoyed my job, but I didn't enjoy the more month coming in than money, if that makes sense. I don't know if you've been there before, but it's like, wow, things are expensive. And this was back in right after 08, 09. So gas prices, everything. I remember thinking at times, I am spending a big portion of my check just filling up my tank of gas, filling up my tank with gas. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And about that time, this industry came in, and I really was like, man, if I could make an extra $500,000 a month, what a blessing. We'd taken two kids in to live with us. I've got two kids. We've got two kids of our own. And so 4 mouths to feed, put them in cars, it's just expensive. And I know you know this, but that's why I got started in the industry. And for me, I learned a couple of valuable lessons. One is you cannot replace timing. It's like, what I mean by timing. Well, if we had got into Apple at the right time, we'd be really happy right now. Timing. If we'd have known what Amazon would have turned into, we'd have probably invested in it when it was a book company. And timing for me in my previous company was, I got in, nobody knew it, and I just happened to go to work. I just went to work. I just started sharing. I started connecting the dots. And a couple of things for me, I guess, nuggets, something I learned is I just didn't do it by myself. When I got somebody interested like Lance, I would plug them into a third party person. I didn't care who the person was. I just wanted the person to be uplifting, nice, and somebody that would say, "Oh my goodness, yeah, we're destined for greatness." And I'm if you've ever been around me much, I'm not a massive talker. Like, I don't mind to train, get up in front of the room, but like just mingling in the crowd, I'm not going to just wear your ears out. And that really was to my advantage in network marketing. I was okay with saying less to a lot of people. And for me, Anthony, I just learned the basics. Like, I see Willie's coach, like it was just the blocking and tackling. It's like, show me the play and I'll just run the play till the cows come home. I don't have to look smart. I don't have to look, like I got this whole thing going on. I just want to know the play. And I learned the play in our company and I wore it out. I wore it out. Some people came on board, some people didn't. But what I learned was when the economy went south after 08, 09, and I'm out sharing, I'm out doing events. It was kind of before social media, so we didn't do a lot on social media, but the world started coming. I mean, I was putting in doctors and lawyers and dentists and educators, and it was just all the people. And I'll never forget, my mentor told me, Brent, you're not that good. Because sometimes we can get the big head, right? Like, man, I'm smoking, everything's happening really good. And he's like, you're not that good. The world's just prime for what we got. Because traditionally in our industry, when the economy goes south, people come to our industry like crazy. And that's what happened to me. And so, Anthony, I came here to make an extra $500,000 a month. And we just started putting one person in, helping them, another person in, helping them. And I watched my team grow. And after a couple of months, I started making, $400, $500, $600 a month of extra income. What a blessing. I hear people today using a system of growth and they're like, I only made $1,000 last month. And I'm like, do you know what I'd have done for $1,000 extra a month when I was an educator? I'd have run through a brick wall to get it. And so after about 2 years, I replaced my education salary with this industry. and I really had some soul searching to do. I weighed my last school bus out in May of 2013. And I was making at that time, I'd built my income up. We had to where I was making about 25,000 a month of income. And I knew, I said, I think I could go build it bigger. And so I walked away from my full-time position. And it was like, but I went to work. I'll never forget calling my mentor and going, I'm thinking about going full-time. And here's what he told me. He said, if you'll go full-time to work 60 hours a week, go do it. But if you're going to go full-time in network marketing, to chill out, go lay on the beach, go just keep your full-time job and just keep building the business. And it was the best advice ever, because I went full-time in 2013, and I'll never forget, I was so scared it'd go away. I woke up every day, put on my clothes, button up my shirt like I was going to be a principal, and I'd go into the office in my town and I'd make calls. I'm like, I would just hammer, and I was scared to see the business go backwards. And that fear drove me. And that next year was the first year I'd made over $1 million in the industry in 1 year. And for me, it was a game changer, because I realized I'm not this major sales guy. Like, I'm not great at just selling people. I get very passionate when I feel like something's working. And for me, it was understanding that all I'm doing is introducing something to people, and I'm connecting them. I'm introducing them and connecting them, introducing them and connecting them. And for me, Anthony, I never looked back at that point. So from being a coach, an athletic director, a principal, I came here $1,000 a month, and that I never wanted to leave. So today, I don't talk about how much I've earned, all of that stuff. I still, when I talk to people about this industry, it's about, man, would an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month, would that benefit you? And for most of the people around the world, the answer is yes. Just like it was for me back when I got started. And I never want to leave that place, because sometimes as your income grows, you start going with a new story that doesn't connect with the new person. You know, $25,000 a month does not connect with the new person, but an extra $1,000 a month absolutely does. And so that's where I was at. It's been a blessing. You know, my kids have watched me grow up in this profession. They've watched me, you know, my sons, they joke with me, my son's friends, they're like, does your dad sell drugs? Like, what does he do? You know? And we always laugh about it, but what it's taught me is, if you're willing to stay consistent, I always tell people, I'm getting off a little bit. I get excited because I was speaking to a group today at an event, and they gave me the best compliment. And it was Summer Simons, who I've been in business with for over 10 years. And she said, I'll never forget years ago, Brent telling me, I'm just like that 25 horsepower John boat going down the creek. There might be some speed boats that blow past me. It's okay. They might run out of gas. I'm just going to be that 25 horsepower John. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. You look up in 10 years and you're like, he's just still going. He's just still going. And that's what she said in front of the room this morning, because I've watched so many people get on fire and then off fire, and on fire and off fire. And it's like, what if you could just keep that even keel and just keep going, month over month over month over month over month? And so that's where my mindset is all the time, Anthony. Like, when I look at what we got today, and I know I might be moving a little bit, but if somebody were to ask me, somebody did. Somebody asked me just a little bit ago, And I'll share this with you, what I shared with them. I said, but the system of growth with the drops was a collective effort by a bunch of people. Now, at times you hear people, it'd be somebody gets credit and this person gets credit. It's really a collective effort of a bunch of people. But it is a beautiful thing because it checks off every part of our comp plan if you just do the system of growth. And here's what I told them in this text. I said, if you'll post twice a day, you're going to sell boxes of drops. How many of you would agree with that? When you post, now it might be 1 box this week and 0 boxes next week and 8 boxes the week after and 2 boxes the week after. But here's the key. The devil attacks when it's the week of 0 boxes and people stop. What if you were the 25 horsepower John boat and you just keep going? So if you go look at my Facebook twice a day, Monday through Friday, I'm like the My Pillow guy, just put it in front of them. Some weeks I sell 0. Some weeks I sell 2. Some weeks I sell 20. But I can tell you this, when the devil comes calling on the week I've sold 0, I knock him off my shoulder. And most people, that'll be their week. They stop and they get inconsistent. And so if you post twice a day, you're going to sell boxes of drops. And guess what? You're going to tap into retail profits of at least $50 a box. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to set a reminder on your phone when you sell a box of drops. And in 2 weeks, you're going to follow up with that person and check and see how the drops are doing. And when they experience a win, you're going to then connect them to a third-party validation, and you're going to bring on a brand partner. And when you bring on a brand partner, guess what our number one goal is in their first 4 Fridays? Get them to ultimate. We don't have but one job, get them to ultimate. And guess what's going to happen as you get them to ultimate? You're going to make $450 in new volume bonus. Check mark in the comp plan. And then at that point, you're going to teach that new brand partner after they go ultimate. Hey, let's find 2 and teach 2. Let's find 2 and teach 2. And what's going to happen as they find 2 and then they get them rolling, you're going to start receiving base commissions, 15%. Check mark in the comp plan. And then as our brand partners start in your organization starts receiving a check, you're going to tap into the matched pay part of the compensation plan. And then as your check grows to $250 in base pay for the week, the company's going to match 15% into your savings bonus. And so all of that, that's why I put it in there for this lady. That box right there, if I would just do that and never stop doing that, ever. And Anthony, that's what happens in our industry most of the time, is as I start making income, I change, Willie, the blocking and tackling. I'm like, I don't need to learn how to block and tackle anymore. I'm ready for a new play. And it's like, nope. If you can just stay with the free throws and layups, stay with the basics. And so for me, I want to be so grounded in this business that every day, guess what I'm going to do? Monday through Friday, 2 posts a day. And I'm going to sell boxes of drops. Some weeks it's good. Some weeks it's not. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just consistently that 25 horsepower John boat going down the creek. And then when I do sell a box, I'm going to put it on my Google Calendar to follow up with them in 2 weeks. And guess what? We're going to convert them to brand partners. And if I would just stay with that, never leave that, and compete with yourself, there's no time to compete with anybody else. See, in this industry, and Coach Willie, I see it all the time. I mean, it's like, I don't compete with nobody. I don't compete with Todd Rowland. I don't compete with Chris Doyle. I don't compete with Tim Sales, because I ain't got no damn time to compete with nobody but myself. I'm too busy. I shouldn't have said damn. Sorry about that. I'm too busy though, Napoleon, because when I wake up in the morning, I know what I need to be doing. I got to make my 2 posts. I'm going to sell some drops. I got to follow up with some people in 2 weeks. Who are they? And I'm going to convert them. I'm going to connect the dots. And then I'm going to help my team and teach them to do the same thing over and over and over again. And so, sorry for the foul language. I had to whip myself tonight. But that's where that is where I sit in the business. And that's what helped me in my previous company. I found the play and I wore that play out. It didn't matter how big somebody I was prospecting was, how much money they made, who they were, what their back. I'm running the play. And they'll either see the vision or they won't. Either way is okay with me. And I'm the same way today. I've got my play. I know the system of growth, and I'm going to wear it out. I'm going to wear it out with people. And people ask me all the time, well, what about, because you got people that always, they want to be the devil's advocate about, well, what about the drops? What if the drops at some point get old for people? I'm like, well, you got to ask yourself this question. Are people going to have hormones? Or will there come a day where they don't have hormones anymore? Answer is yeah. They're always going to have hormones. They're always going to be out of balance. There's always going to be weight problem issues. There's always going to be cholesterol, A1C counts, all of that. So the drops are going to stay the course. But if another product comes in, we can use this same system with the next product, and you don't have to learn anything different. Maybe the words are different, but the buttons are the same. Everything looks the same. It's just, hey, insert this next gateway product, and we're going to roll this thing all over again. When is that going to take place? I don't know. It might be 5 years, 10 years. I don't know. It might be 3 years. But at the end of the day, we'll know the play. We got the play down. And that's what I'm most excited about right now, because the people that are running the play, the people that are using the system, they're winning. And I always say this, money won't keep you here. You think it would, but I see people that they'll make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in a short amount of time. And you're like, where did they go? I don't know. The consistency bug got them, And so for people, if they'll just come here and do the basics, and that to me is my biggest tilt. Like when I look at people, like they're like, how have you earned millions of dollars in the industry? I do this every single day. Every single day. And for me, it's not about, like, I don't have to show it. I'm competing with myself. Right? People ask me all the time, what's your power ranking? What's your power ranking? It changes from week to week, just like everybody else's does. But at the end of the day, at the end of the year, I'm going to compete with myself and know, hey, Brent Palmer stayed consistent through the entire year. Not just a week, not just a month, not just 6 months, 12 months of solid, consistent effort. And that's what I want to be remembered by. Like I got buddies all the time like, dude, Brent's like a broken record. He just keeps doing the same thing over and over and over. You'd think he'd get bored, but he just does not get bored with the basics. So, Anthony, I'll stop. I could roll. That fires me up because anybody can do it. Like anybody that's got a work ethic and willing to go after it can do this.
Coach, that was, well, I was just like, well, he answered that question. He answered that question I wrote down. The only question that was two of them that I'm gonna ask you, was three questions out of the 7 I had wrote down. The next question I want to ask you though, Coach, is, I mean, you've been in it for 12 years. I know some people here are brand new. Some people been in the industry a while, everything. But why partner.co? Why would somebody need to, if anything, I know I was there with you when we started in the company, and Coach, I was there. It was like if you were just around, it got sprinkled on you regardless if you were really doing much work or not. And so, but why partner.co? Why now?
Yeah, well, for me, I've seen this happen before, so I've got a glimpse, right? I watched people in my hometown when we went and we really took off. I watched people that got swept up in the momentum, the charge, and they made a lot of money. I told this today. I've got a good friend, one of my best friends in high school, works for corporate America, and has made a really good living. Now he started my previous company with me, but about 3 weeks ago he got let go from his corporate America job. They came in, cut ties. Probably made about 400 with bonuses, 400 to 500,000 a year. Big lick. He hasn't worked our business in probably 6 or 7 years. His check right now runs from $2,000 to $3,000 a week in Partner Co. So I've seen the power of getting in here, plugging in, and working. Now, to me, if there comes a period of time once you've worked hard and you've earned it and you went out and got it, and you got this residual income, like, yeah, maybe you don't want to push as hard anymore. That's your choice. But why Partner Co right now? Because we're going to create a lot of millionaires. We're all going to make a lot of money here if we will plug in and just do that right there. Like literally I'm going to send this to Anthony. Because if I do the system and the way the question was posed to me today was, what would you tell someone to never stop doing? And I said, that right there. And we're going to make a lot of money here. Partner Co. And we've got the perfect storm. And here's why. Our products are just superior. There's a company right now in our industry, and it doesn't matter who, but there's a company in our industry right now that's just unraveling. And at the end of the day, they ran to $1 billion, but they ran to $1 billion without great products. They ran to $1 billion because people were making money. Have you ever seen that before? A lot of people making a lot of money and the company just running, but they're running on sand. And that sand ends up falling out from under you. You've seen companies like that happen. Our company is built on solid products that are clean, that work. Would you agree with that? Like, it's not just hype. It's not just us like, yeah, this product's awesome. You take our products for a period of time, you don't want to quit using them. I'll give you an example. Lance McAllister. To earn a commissions here, he's required to spend 100 PV a month. He never has to spend any more than that. But I can promise you this. I'd bet $1 million right now that he's on 5 to 10 to 15 products within our company. Yeah. I mean, Francisca's like, I'm on 10. I'm on 10. So we have a company that our products are so good that you all, including me, are buying more than we need. Why? Not because anybody's making us, because we feel good. So that's built on solid rock. That's built on solid rock. Now, when we brought Partner Co together, here's what I tell everybody. After COVID, here's the way I start every time I talk to a group of leaders or anybody that's looking at our company. After COVID, it's really simple. The nutritional industry took a vertical growth. People are reading labels. People are wanting to get healthy. It's not if something else is going to come around, it's when. Everybody nods their head and knows that's happening. But here's the downside after COVID. Supply chain issues, outsourcing of raw materials was a nightmare. And we watched owners of companies having to shed off equity to create cash flow. And it got them in a bind. It got them in a bind. And so Partner Co come out of the ground, and we've got about 14 companies, different companies that we were able to buy, all coming from a range of things: bankruptcy, supply chain issues, owners making a wrong turn, and not, no company, every company thinks they're going to be a legacy company. I mean, think about Kmart. Kmart one time back in the day, they thought that's going to be a legacy company, and they're not here anymore. So Partner Co came out because we were like, you know what? What if we bring a company together and we buy the assets of all these companies? And we did it. And we've got all this clean product line. We've got all this firepower. We're leveraging raw materials. We're leveraging supply chains because of the synergy of these 14 companies. We'll bring more in as time goes on. But then we sit here and we own all these compensation plans. Every company we bought, we've got their compensation plan too. So we've got the number one compensation plan because we know it. Like, we've got the best compensation plan because we could have picked any of them. And so we're sitting here with products that work, backed by science, that people can go do their due diligence, just like the drops, just like Tahitian Noni, just like MOA, just like Limu 5X. And they come back and they convince themselves. We already know we have that firepower, but now we've combined it with the firepower of the comp plan. It just pays more. It just pays more. When we got new people making an extra $1,500, $2,000 in their first month, and they haven't recruited anybody to the business, this thing is going to get crazy. And then there's one missing piece that we needed, and that was the right owners and executives. I'm telling you, I've been a part of this industry, and owners can they can have too big of an ego. They can be too greedy. They can not communicate with the field appropriately, and it leaves everybody feeling bad, feeling kind of turned off. Darren and John are two of the most humble individuals I've ever come in contact with, but also two of the smartest. And they've surrounded themselves with very smart people. They're not intimidated to hire smart people. Mark Patterson, our marketing in IT probably has over 200 years of experience just in those two departments. Katie Holt Larson, embedded in the industry, which is our area president of North America. I mean, I could go through the list. We have the best of the best. So all of this synergy coming together at a time where the world is kind of in a disruption point. Interest rates are high. Things are not lining up for people. And now I see it more than ever. People are coming. People are coming. People are saying yes to the opportunity. So for me now, Anthony, it's go time because I've watched the movie before. If you'll work your butt off when it's go time, you'll collect those rewards for years to come. I've never seen the movie like we're seeing right now. Partner Co. is so much bigger than anything I've seen in this industry. And for me, it just is real easy. I've got to stay consistent. I've got to find the play. Consistency, there ain't but one person that can decide that, and that's me. Nobody else can help me with that. The play is real simple. The system of growth is winning the game in Partner Co. We're getting calls from people all over the world wanting to use the system of growth. It's now leaking into other companies going, we're coming to y'all because you've got a system that wins. So I've got to get consistent. I got to nail the play, meaning I need to learn how to do the presentations myself. Like I got to go get a Zoom account. Like I can't wait on anybody. I gotta be able to knock it out and say less to more people because it's go time. And if I'm willing to just do that day in and day out, put my head down, have some benchmarks of every 90 days, look up, see my growth, go back, see how much money I'm earning, have a little celebration party, head back down, go another 90, head back down, go another 90. Do that for the next 3 years. And that's what, Anthony, for me, that's what I'm focused on. I kicked all my trophies under the bed. It ain't about how much I've made. It's not about where I'm at or where I've been. It's where I'm going. When Partner Co. came last February, I put a big goose egg on my scoreboard and said, I'm starting at 0. Now let's go tear this thing up. And so that's where I'm at.
Coach, wow, there's a lot of nuggets in there, everybody. All I can say is what I took from it is you are real good at doing the basics over and over and over and over. And Coach Willie, what's your saying? How many times you ran that play, Coach, in one game? Coach Willie told us that he ran the play in one game. How many times, Coach?
32 times in a row.
32 times.
Why change? Why change if it's working?
It was working.
Hey, I got to say this because we got a few.
One of the young guys on that team is on this Zoom. He watched it. He was in the game.
So I was a head coach one time, and we ran the ball down the field and got to the 10-yard line. And my offensive coordinator looked at me and he said, I think we've got a pass play in the end zone in the back corner we can score on. He said, what do you feel? I said, run the ball. We ran it all the way down the 10. Why you want to throw it now? Run the ball in the end zone. And that's the way I feel right now. It's like we have so much going on, and I love all of our products. But I have people every day that want to run a different play. And I'm like, why? Why would you run a different play when people are making thousands and thousands of dollars? They're optimizing income positions quicker than ever before that I've seen. And so back to what you said, Coach, it's like, man, if I have to run it 30 million times in a row, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, and you guys, because I always ask everybody this, people ask me or they'll come to me and say, well, I'm not having much success. Or, we even got people who get on the drops and saying, well, the scale isn't moving, but I feel better. I'm losing inches, all the great things that come along with the drops, and it's the same thing in your business. So ask yourself, are you doing what Coach just talked about? Coach literally just gave you the $1 million roadmap. Now, a lot of y'all are going to go in there. You're going to go try to put your own look. Oh, well, I want this right here because this is what I need to do. But Coach just gave you the roadmap to making $1 million. There's a saying that says if you do 2 to 4 years what most people won't do, you could do the rest of your life what most people can't do. So all you have to do is just lock in for the next 2 years and just go with it. And you'll look up and this company be in momentum and you'll be doing things that you only dreamed about. But Coach,
Hey,
I know
Anthony,
that.
can I say one other thing
Yeah.
that I thought about?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know I'm out of time and I talk too
no.
much, but I had a lady, and again, it's not to compare. It's just, it's to pick up a story and gain value from it. So I showed up to Oxford, Mississippi in December, this past December. And I had a lady ask me, she'd been in the business and she was making, $100, $200 a week, something like that. And she said, I really want to do this big. But she's a nurse and she was selling all the product. Like it just, not that there's anything wrong with that, but she was curing people, like in her mind. Like if you had inflammation, she'd put you with this product. If you had this, she'd put you with this. So there wasn't a play. It was just, I know my products. I'm going to go serve the community, which is fine. But she wanted to make big money. And I shared with her what I shared with you tonight. She had some industry experience. So she's got a network. I said, but if you're willing to run the play, and she said, I'll run it. That was in December. 2 months later, she asked me, she said, if you think about 2 lines of business, you recruit 2 people and then you start building teams, 2 lines of business. I said, Michelle, if you get about 10 people in a line running our system, you'll optimize that line. Now, it might take 30 people to find 10. It might take 50 people to find 10. Why don't all 50 run the system? I don't know. Jim Rohn says, don't try to take that course. It'll drive you nuts. Like, I don't know why they won't all do it, but they won't. But your goal's 10. 10 will optimize a line. Why? Because there's orders going on. There's auto ships going on. They're needing a 10-pack. They're needing a 4-pack. And that combined orders and stuff will optimize on a Friday. And she said, what happens when you optimize 2 lines? I said, if you did it every week, your yearly income would be somewhere between probably $185,000 to $225,000 a year. And I could tell she didn't really believe me, but she agreed to do it and she went and did it. 2 months later, this was not this Friday. She optimized again this Friday. She optimized last Friday. Her last Friday paycheck was $4,800 for the week. I told her, I said, now, so she was ecstatic. And I said, what's 4,800 times 4? She said, oh my gosh, that's almost $20,000 for the month. I said, and what's that times 12? She said, 230,000. And you said $250,000. You were right. And I said, yeah, I wasn't lying to you. And so I share that to say, we run the system. We put people in our downline. And we're finding, if you find 10 people in a line that are running your system the right way, you latch on to them, you You go visit them, you go create something with them because they're your running mates. 10 in this line, 10 in this line, and I've got $250,000 a year business in my hands. And it's not going to stop at 10. You get to 10, you're going to 20 people in that line, 30 people in that line. And so, you know, it's fun when you can see somebody do it. And it took her 2 months. I actually told her, I said, it might take you a year to do it. It happened for her in 2 months. My point being is, don't compete with Michelle. Just do it. And if it takes a year, I'll take that. $250,000 that I've built up to, and it took me a year to do it. I'm okay with that. That's a good ROI on my investment. But it might be quicker than that. So I just wanted to share that because it was another eye opener for me. I mean, I think success leaves clues if we're looking for them. That's why the IPA is such a big call in the morning for me. I don't get on there to listen. I get on there to steal. I get on there to steal. I'm listening to steal ideas from Francisca. When she says, this worked for me and I made X amount of sales, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to steal it and I'm going to do what she did. And that's what's so important for me on the IPA Zoom. I think people get on there at times and they compare during the IPA Zoom. Well, I've only sold 2 boxes and they're talking about 20 or 60 or 100. And I'm like, I don't get on there to compare. I get on there to steal. And I know steal is kind of a bad word, but you know what? It's okay. I say this all the time. I think you got to lie, cheat, and steal to do this business big. You got to lie in bed at night and dream big dreams. You got to cheat time out of the day to go work this thing. And you got to steal ideas from people that's been there and done it, and then incorporate it into your business and reap the fruits. So, all right, I'm done. Thank you for having me on. This has been awesome. If maybe I added something.
Coach, you got me fired up. I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm gonna be brainstorming that. When you said that 10, now I gotta go, okay, I got 3 lines of business work. I gotta find 10 in each one. But Coach Willie, I know, did you have anything you wanted to ask Coach or anything?
Hey, man, I'm just speechless. I'm grinning like I'm fired up. My juice is fired up. I gotta get up at 3 a.m., but I bet I need to go to sleep at 12. And I may post at 3 a.m. and see if that worked too. But oh no, there's some great words there, some great encouragement, just some great insight, you know, and some great insight that's, you know, help you move the ball forward, and some great insight that helps you understand the presence now, the importance of your presence now, but the importance of just being consistent. Don't worry about anything and nothing else. Awesome.
Yes. Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. I know we got it, and I know you got another one here coming up with another part of the world here in just a second. So, Coach, we can't thank you enough. This right here was good. Everybody, the recording will be put up on, I'm gonna put it on YouTube, but also to be in the team group on Facebook. So you'll be able to watch it as many times as you want. But for me, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick to the basics because they work. And I love following successful people. So one of the things you'll always see me do is when you see Brent Palmer at an event, you'll see Anthony Moreland. Why? Because that's where Brent Palmer is. And he's, him and Ty Rowland, and Ashley and Chris Doyle. I always find successful people and I go and follow them. I love to get in their hip pocket. So for everybody who's coming to Panama City, hey, see if you can steal some time. Brent told you what to do. Come steal some time with him. Get 5-10 minutes of his time and pick his brain a little bit. Maybe you got to do it in person. I know Samina, and I end off with this. I know Samina and Miss Ella went to an event. They stole a little time from Brent Palmer. You know, they got to be in the same room. And something flipped for them. They were plugging in, you know, they were on, and then something just happened. They said, hey, Anthony, what day can you do a Zoom? Can you do on Friday? They set up a Zoom. Well, since Friday, they both have enrolled 3 new brand partners apiece. Miss Ella's daughter enrolled 3 new brand partners. That's 9 new people in the whole organization. Then also I'm gonna talk about Michelle. Michelle's out. She reached out to me on TikTok. We got her started. I told her what to do. She stayed consistent. She did it. She did it twice a day. She's a very busy lady. She did it. And eventually she also started selling some boxes. Now she didn't have anybody join her business. And then she got this one lady, which was a family member that knows everybody. And then next thing you know, that lady comes in and sells 14 boxes in one day. And she still got another 10-pack going in tomorrow, 2 10-packs going in tomorrow. And that's all because she stayed consistent. So does it work? Absolutely. Does it work? These are people, and all of them had barely any success. And then eventually, like Brent said, that 1 box, that 2 box, that 8 boxes, then you find that person that want to do it as well, and it just goes. So I encourage everybody, post at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., plug into the IPA call, follow up, invite people to sit down and hear about it. Coach Willie is real good at getting somebody. I watch him do it all the time. Get somebody on the box of drops within like they first 4 or 5 days. Guess what he's doing? Hey, Anthony, can you just hop on and do a 10-minute Zoom with me? I'm like, yeah. And we'll do a 10-minute Zoom, just do a little overview of what the next steps is for that person. Then we'll follow up, and he'll just follow up with them. And so it's great nuggets for everybody. And I encourage everybody to do the basics. Do the basics. Run the play. Don't change it up. Run that play 32 times, like Coach Willie says, and don't change it. Don't change that play, everybody. Hey, but I'm gonna ask everybody to unmute. Tell Coach how awesome he is. Coach, we can't thank you enough for all your time, Coach.
Thanks so much for having me tonight, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.